Hi everybody, my name is Ofir and today I'm making a book review on Eleanor and Park by Rowell. So I'm going to begin with a non-spoilery short review of the book, just so you'll have something before you get into it if you haven't read it yet. But I suggest not knowing much getting into this book, so I'm gonna make it very brief. And then I'm going to move on to the spoilery discussion part of this review. So let's get started. Eleanor and Park are both high school kids. This book, I believe, is set in the 80s, 1980s. I think this novel is doing a very good job of portraying real characters, because sometimes the responses of the characters are not something that I can picture anybody doing or reacting in the same way. So it's just not always the most realistic thing. But this book had me, wow, I felt like I knew these characters, they all felt very familiar. I understood why they reacted the way they reacted in some parts, why they thought the things they thought in the novel, and why they said the things they said sometimes. Other than Eleanor and Park's characters, there are a lot of side characters, and I love the fact that there are. I love Park's family and Eleanor's family. I love the dynamic in those families. They're not always good dynamics, but you can feel that they're real. You can feel that those are some things that are happening somewhere, and I love that about it. And the book is just about their love story, how they connect, how they get to know each other, how, I don't know, it's just a very good book. I definitely recommend it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I don't want to say anything that will spoil you, so I won't say what kind of parts made me knock down a star, but just read it. It's very, very good. The writing style in this is amazing. I love how there are double POVs and not just only like a scene from one POV and then the next scene is from another POVs. They're like double POVs for each scene, so you get to see each scene from the way that Eleanor looks at it and from the way Park looks at it. Park, and from the way Park looks at it. So it's very, very interesting. It's very, very good, and the character development in this novel is just incredible, and it's written so well. So yeah, this is the end of the non-spoilery section. So goodbye if you haven't read the book, and hello again if you have. So the first thing that stuck out to me in this novel is their first meeting. I love that. I love that it begins with the scene that it does. I love that bus. Every bus scene, I loved it. It was just so well done. I love how at the beginning he judges her, because that's a very human thing to do. You see a girl and you see the way she dresses and you see the way she looks and you just like do a snap judgment and boom, you have a picture of what you think she really is, even though she's not that. But that's what we do. We humans, we judge each other by our looks. We judge books by their covers. So yeah, we judge people, we have snap judgments, and that's a thing that happens, and we need to get over it. I mean, I don't think I will ever be able to not make snap judgments at people, but I will try my best that if I get to know somebody and I did a snap judgment, I will just try to erase that. And it's very difficult for me. I struggle with that a long time. I see something or someone a certain way and it sticks. I don't know. I can't help it. I'm very judgmental sometimes, and I try really hard not to be, and when I get to know people and I see that they're not the way that I thought they were, I just try to clear out that snap judgment that I made and just throw it away, swat it. So I really like the fact that she was not afraid, that Rainbow wasn't afraid to show that Park did judge Eleanor at the beginning. He didn't know her. I loved the humor in this book. It was very funny. There were some lines that I just cracked up. I couldn't help myself. Like, there was this line on page 74 when Park says, "Jesus, was it possible to rape somebody's hand after he and Eleanor held hands?" And this just cracked me up. And can we talk about that asshole, Richie? He was so annoying. I wanted to just climb into the book and just kick him in the face. He was so annoying. By the way, at the beginning, did you just assume that Steve and Tina were just like really mean? Or did you think that there'll be something more than that? I always waited for that something to come up, and then when Tina and Steve found Eleanor, they didn't find her. When Eleanor just like walked or ran to Park's house in the end, and then Steve and Tina saw her and tried to help her, I thought that was really sweet, that we just like went full circle around it. When you thought, well, Eleanor thought, throughout the whole book, Eleanor thought that it was Tina that wrote all of those mean stuff in her notebooks and books, and yeah, it was really nice to know that it wasn't her, that it was just her bitch of a stepfather. By the way, that teacher that made her fish those clothes out of the toilet, I want to slap her as well. She was such a bitch. I mean, just, she didn't want to do it, and she didn't want to walk all the way to the principal's office with that skin tight gym suit. I would not be able to do that. That was, no, that was mean. She didn't need to do that. She could have just given her a towel or like anything. Don't they have a lost and found section at the school? Just give her something to wear, Jesus. How cute was it at the beginning when Park was reading the comic books and he noticed that she was just reading them on the bus as well, so he tried to flip the pages slowly. You read it and you're like, oh, that was so cute. Because it was, oh, that was really adorable. And Park's parents, oh my god, his mom was so cute. The Avon lady. I just kept picturing the Avon lady from Edward Scissorhands. But it was really nice when she tried to make her like give her makeovers. I mean, I understand that Eleanor didn't want to have makeovers, but just play a little. I mean, she was a little bit stubborn at times, and that kind of annoyed me. Like, she was very frustrating when she just came to his house and then left after 5 minutes and started crying. Another thing I really liked about this book was how when Eleanor felt very insecure and she was just like, oh, I'm fat and I have freckles all over my body and I don't want him to see me. I want him to touch me, but I don't want him to see me. And her whole complex with that, and how when you read the same scene from Park's POV, he just doesn't even mention that. He's just like, she's so beautiful and I love her and I just want to touch her and stuff. So it was just, I love the fact that there were double POVs just for that reason, that you can see how insecurities they're so big when they're in your head, when they're like your insecurities are something that you're like so conscious about, and other people might not even just give a shit about them, or they might even like that thing, like love it. He loves her freckles. He says that she's like sprinkled, and how he doesn't like the fact that he's it's not that he doesn't like the fact that he's Asian, but he just said like there are not hot Asian guys, and she just like, oh, Bruce Lee. And she thinks that he's very attractive, but she doesn't know how to say it, but we know what she thinks because we read the double POVs, so I love that thing about the book. I didn't understand why they were not together. Like, she could have written him back. She could have just sent him a postcard, tell him something, call him. She memorized his number. I memorized his number, I think. 8675309. I do not know why I remember that. But it was just like, call him. He's waiting, and then he's like, oh, it's been a year and I'm just not, I gave up on her, and I didn't get closure on Eleanor's family. I wanted to know what happens to her brothers and her sisters. I really wanted to know what happened with her mom. She just, I really hope that she stood up to Richie, because he was an asshole. So overall, that's why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But not only, I mean, I loved it, but I'm not like, whoa, that was the best thing ever. So it's not just the ending. Maybe it's because it's such a hyped book, so I had some expectations, but I don't know. So I hope you enjoyed this book review. If you did, please thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends. If you want to know what I'm reading, you can add me on Goodreads or follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are down below. And tell me in the comments, what was your favorite part? So yeah, this is the end of this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Tell me in the comments, what was your favorite park? Park?